Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm David Jay. Jay and Janelle are off tonight. Potentially the largest storm to ever hit the United States is close to the coast of Florida. Hurricane Irma is packing maximum sustained winds of 155 miles per hour as it careens toward the Florida peninsula. Caribbean deaths from Irma are in the double digits, and destruction there is widespread. Florida officials are taking every precaution to prevent as much loss as possible. CBS's Kenneth Craig has more from Coral Gables.
Shelters in Florida are filling up, and traffic is clogging roads leading out of the danger zones before Irma's dreaded arrival.
We got water, we got food for a couple days, snacks, beef jerky, stuff like that.
More shelters open Friday evening to help accommodate the 5.6 million people asked to evacuate.
It feels rather comforting because this is the safest place to be.
Governor Rick Scott is warning procrastinators there's not much time left.
Get where you need to go and do not wait.
Irma is tracking slightly west, but the storm is so large it's projected to cover the whole peninsula. The National Guard is already out in force.
My entire focus is just to make sure that everyone's safe and that we continue to help each other out.
Because so much of Miami-Dade County is so low and flat, people are prepared for many areas to flood. Here in Coral Gables, nearly every business is boarded up. Central Florida's Urban Search and Rescue is prepping its vehicles, boats, and crews, which just returned from Hurricane Harvey in Texas.
I'm tired, and I wish it wasn't coming. I would like to have a little rest, but we're ready to go. We got rested up and ready to go.
The U.S. Navy has 4 ships ready to assist with medical and logistic support. More than 20 million Florida residents are in Irma's path, a storm that's already left a trail of destruction in the Caribbean. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, Coral Gables, Florida.
South Carolina's governor plans to order the evacuation of 7 islands, including 40,000 residents of Hilton Head. When a Billings woman moved to Tampa, Florida, she never knew that her camping kit would help her face Hurricane Irma head on. Tiffin Crane just left Montana in April, and from one extreme to another, she said she had no idea what curveball Florida was about to throw her way.
I don't know what to expect. I'm really scared, very anxious. We're just kind of waiting. Everybody's just waiting on edge here. Tackling the stores were quite a sight. All the food aisles were empty. Things like canned foods, they were all gone. I finally got bottled water today. I've been searching for a few days for bottled water. Gas, we had to drive miles to get gas. It's kind of crazy.
And Tiffin says after the hurricane passes, her first plan is to start rebuilding and fixing her newfound community. Here in Montana, the Bobcat Pass fire, about 8 miles southeast of Bridger, has burned more than 1,600 acres and is 30% contained. The fire started around 11:30 this morning, according to Larry Elder, mitigation prevention specialist for the BLM's Billings field office. The fire burned sage, grass, and juniper close to the Bobcat Pass Road, the Cottonwood Road, and Weatherman Draw. Elder says a large air tanker, a heavy air tanker, and single-engine air tankers and 91 firefighters reached the 30% containment around 7 o'clock tonight. Firefighters from the BLM, Carbon County, Florida, and the East Coast all helped. Also, a Huntley man was transported by help flight to St. Vincent's emergency room after he was burned in a grass fire. The fire broke out around 3:30 this afternoon on South 6th Street in Huntley. Yellowstone County Sheriff Mike Linder tells us the 60-year-old man was burning trash in a barrel and flames got out of control. Fire spread into the grass and moved quickly to a nearby shop, then a camper trailer and 2 other structures. It was close to 3 homes that were not damaged. It's unclear whether the victim was trying to stop the flames or saving his belongings, but Linder says the man suffered significant injuries. Yellowstone County is currently under a burn ban. And with critical fire watch coming, firefighters are bracing for a big day on Rice Ridge Fire. And in Lincoln, fears how the big fires in the upper Blackfoot could emerge. MTN's Augusta McDonald has more.
Crews are prepping lines to contain expected Rice Ridge fire activity north of Highway 200 with backburning and fuel removal.
And so the next bunch will be over the next couple of days. We're looking at a cold front that may come in, and I think this is the leading edge of it. And so we'd like to keep the fire low intensity start here and work it down. And then when it gets closer to the road, we will start doing what we call hand firing.
Between 4,500 and 6,000 acres will be backburned down to the 477 road. Depending on conditions, they may use hand or aerial ignition. This could happen before early next week. 7 homes and multiple other buildings are in the area, and crews are taking precautions to protect those structures.
Fire managers are using heavy machinery to create a fuel break on this side of the road along 19 miles of the 477 road in order to prevent the fire from making a run and potentially jumping this road and heading towards structures.
The Montour Creek Guard Station and Montour Campground are also in the path of a southeast running fire. Flames approached within 200 feet of the guard station Saturday night, which is about 8 miles north of Ovando. Crews continue to mop up areas that were torched over the weekend. Reporting in Seeley Lake, I'm Augusta McDonald for MTN News.
And how far are you willing to go to protect your kids from the smoke enveloping western Montana? MTN's Eric Clements meets an Arlee mom who is so desperate for her toddler's safety she's sending her daughter to Wyoming.
I have to evacuate my daughter so that she can breathe.
That's the choice Sadie Chadwick felt she had to make. Evacuate her daughter, 3-year-old Carly Chadwick, whose health is threatened by this oppressive, unrelenting blanket of smoke.
The smoke's in our house. We can't keep it out of our house. We've got 2 air purifiers running all the time, but you can still keep breathe in and you can just taste the smoke inside of our house.
Carly will stay with her grandparents in Wyoming. It's a 16-hour round trip, but Grandma says she's happy to make it.
My mom had been offering to take her for a couple weeks, and I was like, no, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. And now she's waking up every night coughing so bad that she's not sleeping.
I cough, and I can't go to sleep. I coughing, and I want to go sleep and stay asleep and close my eyes. And I keep coughing in the morning. I lie down and I try and cough really hard. And I sit up.
Sadie isn't sure how long Carly will have to be away. She says that's the hardest part. So they're enjoying what could be their last mommy-daughter playtime this summer.
I don't feel like I should have to send my child away to keep her safe.
And though it's difficult, Sadie says it's a choice she won't regret, and she encourages other parents to do the same.
If you have an outlet to get your kids out of the city for, at least a few days or a week so that they can breathe a little bit better and clear their lungs, take it. I know that it's hard, but sometimes we have to make hard decisions as parents.
As for Carly, she's looking forward to seeing her grandparents.
I go camping and see the horses and see my grandpa.
But she's gonna miss Mom.
I need my mama and I need my sippy help me stop coughing.
In Missoula,
I love swimming in park.
Eric Clements, MTN News.
Turning to weather, we have watches, warnings, and some severely unhealthy air. Bob's here from the Weather Center, and I'm not seeing a whole lot of clean air on that.
No. We thought we'd start off here with the air quality around the state. Here in the Billings area, it actually has gotten worse in the last few hours. Remember yesterday we had good air quality. Now in the yellow, in that little dot in Billings, that means we're already to moderate. And farther out in the west, it's getting really bad out there. Basically healthy to hazardous to unhealthy air and very unhealthy air. So let me show you what we still have working for us. This is that air quality alert for most of the western half of the state. It's basically from Livingston all the way up towards Havern, all the way towards Idaho. It's just very bad out there, and that's because we have the unhealthy and hazardous air there. Plus, if that wasn't enough, look at this. We still got another red flag warning starting tomorrow at noon because we have a cold front sweeping through. It could kick off a lot more fires around the region and look for more smoky conditions across most of the west. Some of the smoke could even come here. We'll chat more about that in a few more minutes. David?
Okay, thank you, Bob. More than 360,000 Montanans are now victims of Equifax's data breach. They're part of 143 million Americans whose personal information may have been stolen by hackers. Customer information was taken between mid-May and July. That includes names, social security numbers, credit card numbers, bank accounts, and any other personal documents filed with the company. The Federal Trade Commission has links on its site as to what you can do if you have been impacted by that hack.